Little girl carried by dog to biker clubhouse. They beat my mama. The truth shattered heart. The dog arrived first, blood on his fur. A little girl clinging to his neck like it was the last solid thing left in the world. When she spoke, the room changed forever. They beat my mama, and nothing would ever be the same again. The biker clubhouse was loud in the way only safe places get loud. Laughter, a pool ball cracking against another, the low hum of engines cooling outside. Men who had survived wars, prisons, and bad years leaning into a rare moment of calm. Then the door creaked, not slammed, not kicked in, just opened. Cold air rushed inside, sharp and wet. Rain followed it. And standing there, framed by flickering neon beer signs, was a little girl who looked like she had walked straight out of a nightmare. She was barefoot. Her nightgown was torn at the hem, soaked through, clinging to her thin legs. Blood streaked down the side of her face, dried in places, fresh in others. One eye was swelling shut. Purple fingerprints marked her neck like someone had tried to erase her. Behind her stood a dog, a big one, Rottweiler. Black coat matted with mud and blood, one back leg bent wrong. His chest rose and fell hard, teeth just barely visible as he growled low, not angry, not wild, protective. Every sound in the room stopped. 12 men froze. A beer bottle hung midair. A laugh died unfinished. The girl took one step forward, then another. Her knees buckled. Cole Brennan was closest. He moved without thinking, catching her before she hit the floor. She weighed almost nothing. When she clutched his jacket, her whole body shook like it didn't know how to stop. "They beat my mama," she whispered. Her voice didn't crack. That was the worst part. It sounded used to pain. The dog stepped forward immediately, placing himself between the girl and every man in the room. His hackles rose. His eyes tracked each movement like a loaded weapon. Nobody challenged him. Cole lowered himself to one knee, keeping his body open, his voice steady. "You're safe now," he said, though he didn't know yet if it was true. The girl's head fell against his chest. Rain dripped from her hair onto his leather vest. Somewhere deep inside Cole, something old and buried shifted. "Marcus!" Cole didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Marcus Reeves was already moving, 44 years old. Broad shoulders, close-cropped hair gone mostly gray, hands that had closed wounds under gunfire and stitched skin in places no one should ever have to go. He grabbed the first aid kit and knelt beside the girl like this was muscle memory. Because it was. Danny Walsh followed, pulling blankets from a supply closet. His movements were slower, careful. A man who had broken once and rebuilt himself piece by piece. He wrapped the thickest blanket around the girl's shoulders and placed a bottle of water within reach. The dog watched every touch. Cole stayed low so his size wouldn't scare her. "What's your name, sweetheart?" Her teeth chattered. "Lily." "How old are you, Lily?" 7. Marcus cleaned the cut above her eye. "This will sting a little," he said gently. She didn't flinch. That hurt more than the wound. "Who did this?" Cole asked. "My mama's boyfriend." Lily twisted the blanket in her fists. "He got mad. He was drinking. His friends were laughing." The words came out flat, like she'd already said them once to someone who didn't help. "He hit her. She fell." Lily swallowed. "I screamed. He told me to shut up." Marcus's jaw tightened, but his hands stayed steady. "They locked me in my room," Lily continued. "I heard Mama crying, then nothing." Silence stretched heavy. The dog let out a low whine, his body trembling. "How did you get out?" Danny asked softly. Lily pointed. "Bear broke the window. He kept barking at me until I climbed out. He wanted me to get on his back." She looked up at Cole, eyes too old for her face. "He ran. I just held on. 2 miles. Barefoot, in freezing rain." Cole had seen courage in battlefields. This was something else. This was love refusing to give up. Marcus worked carefully on Lily's feet. Cuts, thorns, shards of glass embedded in soft skin. She never cried. As he lifted her blanket to clean one last wound, something slipped free and landed softly on the couch. A thin gold chain, a small cross. It caught the light. Marcus froze. Cole felt it before he saw it, like ice sliding down his spine. He knew that necklace. He had bought it 12 years ago from a pawn shop with overtime money, given it to a woman who laughed like she didn't get enough chances to be happy. "Rachel, where did this come from?" Cole asked, his voice suddenly tight. "It's Mama's," Lily said. "She wears it all the time. Says someone special gave it to her." The room tilted. Cole stood up too fast. His knees cracked. He turned and walked into the bathroom without another word. He gripped the sink and stared at his reflection. The scars, the tattoos, the man he had become to survive. Rachel had disappeared from his life after his arrest. No letters, no calls. The math hit him hard. 7 years old, blue eyes, that necklace. His breath broke. The mirror shattered under his fist. Blood ran down his knuckles, grounding him. Danny opened the door slowly. "Cole, she's mine," Cole said. "That little girl out there. She's my daughter." And somewhere, far away and bleeding, the woman he never stopped loving was fighting for her life. They didn't waste time. Cole returned to Lily and knelt in front of her. Really looked at her this time, the familiar curve of her jaw, the way one eyebrow lifted higher than the other. "My name's Cole," he said gently. "I'm going to help your mama, but I need you to tell me where your house is." "Crabapple Road," Lily said immediately. "White house, broken mailbox." Marcus pulled up the map. 3 miles, Forest Road. Sheriff was delayed, roads blocked. Rachel didn't have that long. "We move now," Cole said. Lily stood, the blanket dragging behind her. Bear rose with her, wounded leg shaking. "I'm coming," she said. "Bear won't go without me." Cole hesitated, then nodded. Outside, engines roared to life. Cole placed Lily in front of him on the bike, wrapping his jacket around her like armor. Her small hands gripped. The forest swallowed the road within minutes. Headlights carved narrow tunnels through rain and trees, branches whipping past like grasping hands. Gravel snapped under tires. The world reduced itself to forward motion and breath. Lily pressed her back into Cole's chest. He could feel her heartbeat through the leather, fast, uneven, like a bird trapped somewhere it didn't understand. His arms wrapped around her without thinking, instinct older than logic. "Cold?" he asked, shouting over the engine. She shook her head once. Her hands never loosened. Bear ran beside them. Cole didn't know how the dog was still moving. Blood darkened his back leg, splashing against wet stones. Every few strides, his gait faltered, then steadied again. He never fell behind. Marcus rode point, scanning the road ahead. Danny stayed rear, checking mirrors, counting bikes like a prayer. No one spoke. Words would only break something fragile. Rain soaked through everything. The road curved sharply. The bikes slowed. Cole lined with the turn, his body instinctively shielding Lily from the wind. She trusted him completely. That trust landed heavier than any weapon he'd ever carried. His mind betrayed him with memories. Rachel laughing behind a diner counter. Coffee poured without asking, her hand resting over his, fearless. She'd seen past the leather and the reputation. She'd believed in the man underneath, and he had left. Prison bars, courtrooms, lost years. Now her blood was on someone else's hands. A sudden bark cut through the night. Bear veered toward a barely visible dirt path. "That's it," Lily said softly. "That's where Bear turned." Marcus raised a fist. The bike slowed to a crawl. The White House appeared like a ghost, porch light flickering, front door half open. A broken mailbox leaned sideways like it had given up. Cole's stomach dropped. They cut the engines. Silence rushed in, thick and wrong. Somewhere inside the house, something fell. They moved fast but quiet. Cole lifted Lily down, setting her behind Danny. "Stay here," he said gently, "no matter what." She nodded. Bear stood in front of her, teeth bared toward the house. Marcus kicked the door open. The smell hit first. Alcohol, blood, fear. The living room was chaos. Overturned chairs, a shattered coffee table, dark stains soaked into carpet fibers. The walls bore marks where someone had been shoved hard enough to leave dents. "Clear," Marcus whispered, sweeping left. A man groaned from the kitchen. Cole saw red. Wade lay on the floor, clutching his ribs, face already swelling. One of his friends tried to stand. Brick slammed him back down without a word, but Rachel wasn't there. "Bedroom," Danny said. They found her in the hallway bathroom. Rachel lay crumpled against the tub, hair matted with blood, breathing shallow and wet. Her face was barely recognizable. One arm bent wrong. Purple bruises climbed her throat like fingerprints from hell. Cole dropped to his knees. "Rachel," he whispered, afraid to touch her. Her eyelids fluttered. She looked at him like she was seeing a ghost. "Cole," her voice cracked. I thought you were gone." "I'm here," he said, choking. "I've got you." Marcus moved in, already assessing. "Internal bleeding," he said quietly. "We move now." Rachel's fingers twitched weakly. "Lily, she's safe," Cole said. "She saved you." Rachel cried then, silent tears slipping sideways into her hair. Bear limped into the doorway and whined. Rachel's eyes found him. "Good boy," she breathed. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance. This house had taken enough. Paramedics worked fast, voices clipped and professional. Rachel was loaded onto the stretcher, oxygen mask fogging with each shallow breath. Lily broke free from Danny and ran to her. "Mama!" she cried, gripping her hand. Rachel squeezed back with what little strength she had. "You were brave," she whispered. "So brave." Cole stood back, unsure where he belonged. Rachel looked at him again, really looked this time. The years between them collapsed into something small and fragile. "You came," she said. "I should have been here sooner," he replied. Sirens lit the trees red and blue. One of Wade's friends was hauled out in cuffs, screaming excuses no one listened to. Wade himself didn't look up as they dragged him past. "Good." Marcus approached Cole. "She'll make it, barely, but she will." Cole exhaled a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Lily hugged Bear's neck tightly. "You did it," she whispered into his fur. The dog leaned into her, finally allowing himself to rest. As the ambulance doors closed, Rachel caught Cole's hand. "She's yours," Rachel said weakly. "I should have told you. I was scared you'd disappear again." Cole swallowed hard. "I'm not going anywhere." This time he meant it. Dawn came slow and pale. Hospital corridors smelled like disinfectant and second chances. Rachel lay asleep, wrapped in wires and quiet beeping machines. Alive. Cole sat beside Lily in the waiting room. She leaned against him like it was the most natural thing in the world. Bear lay at their feet, leg bandaged, eyes half closed. No one spoke. Outside, rain finally stopped. Cole looked down at his daughter. The words still felt unreal, heavy, sacred. "You hungry?" he asked softly. She nodded. He smiled, small, careful, like he was learning how. "I know a place that makes pancakes the size of steering wheels." Her eyes lit up for the first time. "Really? Really?" Somewhere deep inside, the man Cole had been started to loosen his grip. He hadn't arrived at the clubhouse that night looking to be saved, but a little girl and a broken dog had found him anyway. Hospitals had a way of stretching time until it felt unreal. Minutes dragged like hours. Chairs were uncomfortable on purpose, as if pain was something you were supposed to earn. The fluorescent lights hummed softly overhead, never dimming, never allowing true rest. Lily sat between Cole and Danny, her socked feet dangling above the floor. She hadn't spoken in a while. Her small fingers traced the stitched seam on Cole's leather vest again and again, like it was a map she was memorizing. Bear lay across her feet, his breathing slow and even. Medication finally dulled the pain in his leg, but his ears twitched at every passing footstep. A nurse appeared, clipboard tucked against her chest. "Rachel Lawson is stable," she said. "She's out of surgery. It was close." Close was a word that echoed. Cole nodded, his throat too tight to speak. Lily leaned forward instantly. "Can I see my mama?" "Soon," the nurse said kindly. "She needs rest first." Lily nodded like she understood adult rules now. Childhood had ended early. Cole stared at the wall, at nothing and everything. He thought about all the nights he'd spent convincing himself he didn't deserve more, that some people were just built to survive, not to keep. Now a 7-year-old girl had walked through rain and blood straight into his life and proven him wrong. Marcus sat across from him, hands folded, eyes closed. Prayer, maybe, or just silence. Danny leaned closer. "You okay, brother?" Cole exhaled. "I don't know how to do this." Danny smiled softly. "Nobody ever does, you just stay." That idea felt terrifying. And right. Morning light crept through hospital windows like it was afraid to intrude. Rachel woke slowly. Pain greeted her before memory did. Then faces formed, Lily first, curled carefully beside her bed, asleep with one hand holding Rachel's finger. Cole stood on the other side, unsure whether to come closer or step back. Rachel's eyes filled immediately. "You stayed," she whispered. "I'm not leaving," Cole said. She studied him, the scars, the gray, the man life had carved into something harder and softer at the same time. "I didn't tell you, because I thought you deserved freedom." "I deserved the truth," he replied gently. Tears slipped down Rachel's temples. "I was scared you'd choose the road again." Cole swallowed. "I did choose the road. I just didn't know it would lead here." Lily stirred and opened her eyes. "Mama!" "I'm here," Rachel said, kissing her fingers. Lily looked at Cole, hesitated, then smiled, small, cautious, hopeful. That smile broke him. Outside the room, a police officer waited. Statements were taken, charges explained. Wade would not be walking free any time soon. Justice moved slowly, but it was moving. Bear was brought in briefly by a vet tech. Lily hugged him fiercely. "He's my hero," she said proudly. Cole watched them and understood something fundamental. Family wasn't blood alone. It was who ran through the dark for you. Weeks passed. Rachel healed in stages, body first, then spirit. The bruises faded slower inside. Cole stayed nearby, sleeping in a chair some nights, a borrowed couch others. He learned Lily's routines. Pancakes on Saturdays, stories before bed, nightmares that came without warning. When Lily woke crying, it was Bear who reached her first. Cole followed, sitting on the edge of the bed, saying nothing until the shaking stopped. "I don't like the quiet," she admitted one night. "I know," he said. "Me neither." He started showing up, really showing up. School meetings, doctor appointments, grocery trips where Lily insisted on pushing the cart. Rachel watched from a distance at first, afraid to hope too hard. Then one evening, she handed Cole a photo album, old pictures, ultrasound images. "I never stopped loving you," she said quietly. Cole closed the book and met her gaze. "I never stopped either. I just didn't know how to come back." They didn't rush. Healing wasn't a race. It was a choice made daily. The clubhouse looked different in daylight, less intimidating, more like what it really was, a refuge. Lily stood just inside the doorway, Bear at her side. The men removed their helmets, lowered their voices. "This is where you came," Cole said softly. Lily nodded. It felt safe. Marcus knelt to her level. "That's because it is." They put up a small plaque near the back room couch. No names, just words. "Bravery has many shapes." Lily traced the letters with her finger. Cole rested a hand on her shoulder. For the first time in his life, the weight of responsibility didn't feel like chains. It felt like purpose. And somewhere between engines and silence, a broken man learned how to belong. Here we go. The trial didn't look like the movies. No dramatic speeches, no sudden confessions. Just long days, hard benches, and the slow grind of truth being spoken out loud. Rachel testified first. Her voice shook at the beginning, then steadied as she went on. She didn't look at Wade. She didn't need to. The facts carried their own weight. The photos did the rest. Lily didn't sit in the courtroom. She waited outside with Cole, coloring quietly, Bear's head resting on her shoes. Every now and then she looked up, checking that Cole was still there. He always was. When Rachel finished, she walked past Wade without a glance. That mattered more than anything she could have said. The verdict came later. Guilty, multiple counts, the sentence long enough to mean safety, not closure, but safety. That night they sat on the porch of Rachel's house, the same house that once held fear. It had been repaired, new door, new locks, fresh paint. "Do you still hate it here?" Cole asked Lily gently. She thought for a moment. "No, it feels different now." Rachel watched them from the doorway, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She looked tired but lighter, like someone who had survived something and wasn't pretending otherwise. Cole realized then that healing didn't erase scars. It taught you how to live beside them. Bear healed slower than everyone else. His leg never quite moved the same. He limped on cold mornings. The vet said it would always ache a little. Lily called it his brave walk. They built a ramp by the porch so he wouldn't have to climb stairs anymore. Lily painted his name on it in crooked yellow letters. One afternoon, Cole watched Lily lying in the grass beside Bear, whispering secrets into his ear. Things meant only for someone who had carried you through the dark. "Did you know?" Lily said later. "Bear knew where to go before I did." Cole nodded. "Some hearts just know." He adopted Bear officially, not because the dog needed a home, but because Cole needed reminding of what loyalty really looked like. On weekends, they rode together. Lily between Cole and the gas tank, Bear riding in a custom sidecar, goggles crooked and proud. People smiled when they passed, not because they knew the story, but because they could feel the love. Years later, Lily would remember the sound of rain differently. Not fear, not running, just water falling from the sky. She would remember Bear's steady heartbeat beneath her, Cole's arms around her, her mother's voice calling her name in the morning. Cole kept the broken mirror from the clubhouse bathroom, hung it in his garage, not as punishment, but as proof. That night had broken him open, and something better had grown there. Family dinners replaced bar nights. School plays replaced long rides. He still wore leather, still rode hard, but he came home, always. Because one night, a little girl and a wounded dog reminded a man who thought he was lost that love knows exactly where to go. Some heroes wear leather. Some walk barefoot through storms, and some run on four legs through the dark. If this story touched you, subscribe asterisk like asterisk, and press the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. You're not alone, and neither are they.